I was going to dance, but I don't want to show off. You see, I just came from the gym, right? You can tell, of course. All right. Well, food is an important thing in these holidays. So we'll talk about one of the great foods, Jell-O. Of course, they make a lot of Jell-O. You would think that there are hundreds, millions of people getting out of surgery today. You do not find Jell-O in a fancy, good restaurant. You have to go to one of those diners that never close. And they keep it in a rotating case with a lock, along with the lemon custard pie with Cool Whip. And they serve it in a fake crystal goblet as if it's something, in 12 flavors that all taste the same, with tiny mushrooms. And the only places that they actually have it at home in places like Minnesota and Wisconsin and Utah. But you never see it in Montana or Wyoming because there are guys there. They would not eat Jell-O. And North Dakota and South Dakota are too tough, so they don't have that. Anyway, it is akin to celery, which now this is, you can call personal opinion, but it's actually universal truth. But I just say personal opinion because if somebody's going to attack me, I don't, I have a legal out. Anyway, celery sticks just leave these little threads in your teeth. Terrible. They serve at bar mitzvahs and weddings. I use a speech recognition program, and they put bar mitzvahs. I said bar mitzvahs. That's what they did. The best dessert, of course, is creme brulee or chocolate mousse with actual whipped cream, not from a can, but what you whip up like that in a cold thing. Anyway, so I used to travel. This is a segue. I'll get back to food. Or should I just do food? What I say is a day without food is like a day without food. Food is an essential aspect of a balanced diet. All right, we'll do food. I was going to do cell phones, food, and gift wrapping, because it's the baby Jesus who is presented by the three wise men, Gaspar, Balthazar, and Fred. They presented him with gold, frankincense, and myrrh, and which is just what a newborn baby and mother need. And in the Bible it says that. They came to the house of bread. Bethlehem, that's the actual name of the town. That Bethlehem is a kind of anglicized version. And there is no mention in that book of Matthew about wrapping paper, because if there was, this is a theological point, he would have said, and the gifts were put in 600 cubic feet of wrapping paper and were festooned with pictures of Frosty the Snowman, Rudolph, and Burl Ives. But he didn't say, and the baby was more interested in the wrapping paper. And Joseph was about to throw it out. And Miriam says, Yosef, do not throweth out that paper, saveth. It's just pretty paper, save it for next year. And Joseph rolleth his eyes. And Morty said, why do you guys speak in a lisp? But it does not say that, because of two important reasons why there was no paper. Not only they didn't have it, but There were men, there were wise, and there were men. Men do not psychologically reason why gifts should be wrapped when they'll be just ripped apart, and what's the point? Also, men are not psychologically equipped. Like women are equipped to have babies and wrap gifts. But this I found out through a very scientific survey by asking two of my friends, Murray and Morty. And Murray said, well, here's my point. I will wrap a gift if it takes no more than 15 seconds. And Murray said, what's the point? It's just going to be ripped off anyway. And now, here's the thing. I am, due to motor defects, not equipped to actually wrap paper. That's for a long time ago. I could take a gift the size of a deck of cards, put it on a piece of paper the size of a regulation volleyball court, wrap it, and there will still be something sticking out, which I will camouflage with a marking pen. Had I been in Egypt taking care of mummies, the feet of the kings there of Egypt would be covered in Scotch tape, if they had Scotch tape. So, but I have a friend, June, or Joan, or Jean. I can't remember. I did once have a girlfriend, 2, 3 at the time. June, Joan, Jean, and Jan. I would call June and I'd say Jan. This was very embarrassing. This is why I gave up dating. You don't want to be. So I have the tips, gift wrapping tips for men. 1, have them wrap it in the store. This saves you a lot of, do it for free. And if it happens that the person you give it to and you do not recognize the gift, say, it's frankincense. Then if you have a gift that you can't wrap, that they won't wrap for you, and it's too clumsy, put it in one of those bags, put an adhesive bow on it, and you're set. So, this is what would happen. You do that. You put the bow, and your wife says, what is that hefty bag under the tree? And you say, it's a gift. You see, there's a bow. There's 2 bows. I covered my tracks. And she opens, she says, it's a leaf blower. And you say, yes, 5 horsepower, gas powered. She says, I want a divorce. You say, I also got you some frankincense. So here's what. Get it wrapped, save the receipt. Okay, back to, travel. Yes, a leaf blower, right? Of course, very useful. I used to travel and go to motels. And there's a few things about motels. If you know it's a good one, because on a neon sign outside, they say, color TV. You say, is this the 70s? What are you doing? Color. And then you go in and you try to close the curtains. But the curtains close and there's the 2.5-inch gap, which is just enough for that light across the street, which is not a street light, but a Star Wars laser light, to hit you in the pupils, no matter what position you take on the bed. This way, that way. And you know these mattresses, what happened? Did they fall off a truck by some driver named Carmen from the Pleistocene era? You know that they don't wash the bedspreads since the Harding administration. But they give you a sewing kit. How does Comfort Inn know that I left my sewing box at home? I know what I'm going to do with that sewing kit. I'm going to initial the bathrobe, which they don't give you, and I'm going to sew those ends of the curtains together so I can get a good night's sleep. Okay. I have to get back to food because I have my sayings, because, I've like those news broadcasters, they always hold a roll of paper, but they never look at the paper while they're saying the news. What does they do? It goes in by osmosis, But they do look, they sneak, peek, doing the things between. Anyway, food, okay. Chips. There used to be only one kind of chip, potato chip. In my hood, it was Wise potato chips that came in two sizes. Two sizes. 5-cent bag, if a kid wants just for lunch, or a 25-cent bag if you invite the entire neighborhood and you need a big cart to carry it. That was it, slightly salted. Then came corn chips, innocently kind of sneaking in the door. Corn chips, okay, we're good with that. And then they had pink salted potato chips with crushed pepper, potato chips with crushed pepper and jalapeno sauce, potato chips with ghost pepper, chips with cheese, chips with flamingos. Then they had blue corn chips. How did they get blue corn chips? Now, vegan potato chips. I didn't know that potatoes had cheese, but they had vegan, gluten-free. Didn't know potatoes had gluten. Okay, they had parsnips chips, kale chips, nori chips. Then they're going to come with cabbage chips, corn silk chips, and oak bark chips. And now, I'm not making this up, they have popcorn chips. And popcorn is a thing in itself. Oh, pita chips, which is bread, which is wonderful, by bread. But why chipify it? Now, popcorn. This I'm not making, I saw this. I actually was amazed. Popcorn is a thing in itself. You can put butter on it or not, or oil. You can curry it, you can put nutritional yeast, you can do all these things to popcorn. Why do they chipify it? I can only imagine how do they do this. They smash it together, put some kind of fabric or Gorilla Glue, and they serve it. And today I saw, this was cool, little teeny toasts in a very nice package in 2 rows, and as if people have lost the ability to actually slice a piece of bread and make a fresh toast. They have to do it, and they're little, very nice. Would they go with a dip or something? I don't know what else they're going to do. Now, how much time do I have? I don't want to get cut off. Oh, okay. So, I think I went over. Oh my God, I won't sleep. Sleep is my hobby. If I didn't have to pee, I'd forget to get out of bed. This is true. All right. The next important thing, besides cell phones, originally when we had a phone, well, actually we didn't have a phone in the beginning when I was a little squirt, about that big, 3 years old. We had no phone in our house. It was really like a slum, basically. There was no bathroom, no phone. Radio, an icebox, actual icebox with real ice, like that. The iceman would come, put ice in it. And so the only phone was at Joe the Barber. every barber was named Joe. And it was about 3 blocks away. And if there was a call from my mom, he would dispatch his gorgeous daughter. At 3 years old, I could recognize that, even then. And she would go stand in our window, the room that we had, one room faced the street, with a window at the street, and she would stand there, Frida, you have a phone call? And Mom would go, that's true. Okay, then we got a phone eventually, and she was limited to the extent of 10 feet from the kitchen. That was it. There was no cell phone. Imagine that. No cell phone. What do you do when you're going on a trip? You're going to say, I'm going to take all my pictures. I'm going to take all my... Now you have a phone, and they say, what do you want? I say, I want all my photos. Okay. I want all the music. All your music? No, all the music. All the music. Everything. And movies. And how much are you going to pay? Nothing. Nothing? Yeah, okay, nothing. You can have it. But now, I see people on phones constant, as if they're so important that they're getting calls from Hong Kong and Madagascar. You don't know how. I saw a guy, this is true, on a skateboard in New York near our institute there it's really crowded. And he's on a skateboard, he's got a cup of coffee, he's got a cell phone, and he's whizzing by with the coffee, doesn't spill a drop. I think this guy has escaped from Creedmoor or something. You know? Used to be, you see guys talking to nobody on the street, you'd call an ambulance, you'd take them away. Now, you have to look if they have something, and they do. All right. Back to food. Oh, wait, one more thing on cell phones. Almost forgot. So you call a number, and they say, please pay attention, because our menu options have changed. No, they haven't. That's in Grover Cleveland was president. No options have changed. Your call is very important to us. Please stay on the line while we play this rejected elevator music. My call is not important to you. If it was important to me, to you, you would be there. So this nonsense. All right. That's boring. Fig Newtons, cookies. Cookies are important because this is what we live with food. So, Fig Newton is genius. Who would ever think that Newton, who was one of the inventors of calculus, along with Leibniz, that's the correct pronunciation, and in physics, would develop a fig Newton. A Newton outside and a fig on the inside. Take a graham crack. I never seen a fig until I was 25, except for these dried figs from Turkey that came on a string that if you ate it, break your teeth. It's like when they are on the beach when the big guy kicks your sandcastle into your 98-pound weakling frame. That's a reference to comic book. You people of that age can explain to the young people what that. Anyway, that is not as great as the Pepperidge Farm. Oh gosh, I'm almost done. All right, I'll finish that. I'll finish cookies. All right. Pepperidge Farm. Is there actually a Pepperidge Farm? A guy with a straw hat saying, I'm going to hoe in some Milanos today. They have Milanos and Bordeaux and Bavarian. It's like a Rick Steves trip. And a Milano I love. But you had to have your own landfill because they put the thing, each cookie in its own little thing, like a muffin, and that muffin thing is in something else with a doily. And why can't they just do it like the Fig Newtons and like Rose or like Oreos? Okay, but the worst cookie ever is the Chinese fortune cookie. Right. With over 1.6 billion people, couldn't they come up with a better dessert? They have 100 million tons of rice. Couldn't they make puddify it? Make pudding? No. I know we invented the fortune cookie, but this is my joke bit, so you will indulge me. So you bite into this cookie, it tastes like a manila folder. It's horrible. It also breaks your teeth. But what do you get it for? The fortune. It's the fortune. Even no matter how smart you are, you could be the smartest person, you want that fortune. You say, okay, I broke my tooth, here's my fortune, I have a winning personality. That will help. Thank you.